Some of the most creative moments in my career have come after a big break, a break from music. But taking breaks from music to gain perspective and to just have a break and to enhance your creativity is something that's really difficult in the early years of your career. It was for me. Couldn't hardly afford to take a single day off, much less an actual week or two off, and even much less an actual vacation. But I wondered if there was a way to hack creativity, a way to get the benefits in your creative life of taking these breaks. And this got me thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. Now, most of these breaks that I've had in my career were not necessarily voluntary. They weren't vacations. I remember the first big one was when I built my studio right downtown Peoria, and it was about 3,600 square foot, and I had been making records for maybe 7 or 8 years at that point, and I didn't work the construction process from beginning to end. I just built the control room and the live room and got it functional. And that took about 3 months because I was doing it all myself. And I just remember when I was done with that, or when it was operational, the creative fire that I had was crazy. I could not think about doing anything other than working on music. The ideas were flowing at such a rate that I maybe had not ever experienced before. I was more motivated than ever. Now, the next time I experienced this was on our honeymoon. This was the first proper vacation I'd ever had in my life, and we went to the Virgin Islands for a week for our honeymoon. And I remember I couldn't even relax. I couldn't even take a deep breath and exhale fully for like the first 3.5 days. And then finally it hit me, and I was actually able to actually relax. And I remember coming back from that trip just so full of motivation. When we moved here to Nashville, I had a couple weeks off getting the house ready to sell and selling the house, setting up the new studio. I had a couple weeks off, and I just, having the time off coupled with the fact that I had just moved to Nashville, to Music City, the recording capital of the world, I was so motivated, and the creative juices were just flowing so hard. When we built this house and I took up 3 or 4 weeks off to build the first version of this room, I was so motivated once I finally got back to work. And then this version of the room, when I built this version of this room, and I worked on not very much music for 6 or 8 months. Man, there was an interesting shift, and I documented this on the build video. There's an interesting shift about 8 weeks into this construction project. And for years, for those of you that don't know, I'm in my 21st year of making records. I've worked on thousands and thousands of songs, and for a decade, I've worked on between 150 and 200 songs a year. Now, what that means, unfortunately, the downside of having a career like that is I just didn't really listen to much music. I paid attention to the charts. I would listen to what was new. I tried to keep up with the current happenings and what the trends were, but I didn't listen to a lot of music just for me. I would either listen to podcasts or nothing at all. I think my wife thought I was insane because I could go on a 6-hour car ride and literally listen to nothing the whole time. But when I was doing construction on this version of this room, I got to week 7 or 8, and all of a sudden I just started listening to music. I had earbuds in the whole time, and so 8 hours a day, I just began listening to music again. And that really got me thinking about how taking breaks from music are so important. But that also got me thinking about maybe potentially different ways that we could hack this and get similar results without actually taking time off. Because let's be honest, how much time off can you really justify? So today I would just like to pass these thoughts on to you guys in hopes that it helps you be more creative, be able to perform better, be able to make better music. Because one thing that is so difficult about what we do is creativity on demand. Whatever hours you work throughout the day, it's really hard to be creative all day, every day, 9 to 5. So here are some things that I've come up with to help this. And this is what I do for me, and I hope that it helps you. Now, the first thing is take breaks as much as you can, like real breaks. If you can just have a whole day off and just really separate yourself. If you can take a vacation or two a year, a long weekend or two a year, man, does it really, really help. It's almost like the more time you spend away from music, once you've gotten to a certain place in your career, it's almost like the more time you spend away from it, the more hungry you are to do it. Now, obviously, this wasn't a problem in the earlier years of my career where it's all that I could think about, or it just consumed me anyway. I didn't need time off to be motivated. But time off, it's a big deal. Now, the next thing is compartmentalizing everything that you do within music. This is how I've been doing this for a while now. I try to section off the different parts of the process so that way I don't get burnt out on any one thing. For instance, I produce records, I mix records, I master records, I play tons of instruments on records, I produce vocals and coach singers on records, I do tons of social media content, I do this YouTube thing. But when I can really separate all that out, it really, really helps. For instance, if I'm producing a record, I want to produce the whole record. And then I want to mix the whole record, and then I want to master the whole record, and that gives separation between the processes. Even if I'm not doing full records, because most of us are just working on singles at this point, I really try to separate that stuff out. I will only produce, and if I can, I'll produce a couple songs in a row before I mix. And if I have the time available, I will mix the songs in a batch. And then I will master the songs in a batch. Or like if I'm playing guitar on a bunch of stuff, I'll set up the guitar rigs and get everything ready, and then I will just play guitar for a few days. And I'm not producing, and I'm not mixing, and I'm not mastering, and I'm not filming YouTube content. I'm just playing guitar. And then I will switch it up and just film content. And so being able to have this separation really, for me, has helped me keep the creativity alive. It has helped me be able to be creative on a consistent basis every single day for a lot more days in a row before I actually need a break. So if you're struggling with being creative or being burnt out, try separating stuff out a little bit more. Try separating your processes out. And hopefully that will give you some separation between things and help, reinvigorate you. It feels more fresh when you're like, oh, I'm excited to mix this song because I haven't mixed anything in a week or two. Like that's a good thing. Before we get on to the rest of it, there are links in the description below to all the gear that I use and a whole bunch of stuff that I recommend, plugins, camera gear, all kinds of stuff. So anytime you guys need any piece of musical gear whatsoever, you can jump on any one of my videos and click on any one of the links in the description of any video. And once you're on the site, you can purchase anything you need. And if you do that, it goes a long ways to help support this channel, help me keep making content just like this. Those links do go to Sweetwater. So thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video. And thanks to you guys for using those links anytime you need to purchase anything at all. I very, very much appreciate it. The next thing that I do is I try to mix up the genres. For me personally, I need to work on pop and rock and metal and country, all the genres of country, because I'm here in Nashville, obviously. I love working on pop country and rock country, and I love all of the country subgenres. I totally enjoy working on bluegrass. I do a little bit of R&B stuff. I really love all the different subgenres of pop, but switching it up genre-wise really helps me as well, keep it fresh. So I've said this for years, at the end of mixing my third or fourth metal album in a row, I'm like, oh dear God, could I get some bluegrass in here? Variety is the spice of life. And so that is one of the things that I've focused on a lot, is not being put in a box genre-wise. I enjoy working on a lot of different genres or subgenres, and that really, really, really helps, is having some variety in the music. Even down to the clients, trying to keep an even ratio of male to female clients, to me, keeps things a lot fresher, because I treat a female voice completely different than I treat a male voice, with the EQ and the compression and how I tune it and how I coach them and the things that I'm looking to pull out of their performances when they're standing here singing. And so even just keeping that a good balance really makes things fresh. And the next thing is hobbies. Now, just like the vacation thing, for the longest time, I could not afford to have hobbies because there wasn't time to have hobbies and there wasn't money to have hobbies. But if you can have some other things that you're interested in, I think it's a huge help. One of the things that we do often as a family is we go hiking to waterfalls all the time. Here in Tennessee, especially Eastern Tennessee, there are so many unbelievable waterfalls and hiking trails and different state parks. And just getting outside in the sunlight with some physical activity makes an enormous difference. If you can just do that one day a week, man, does that make a huge difference on your creativity and your motivation. I feel so much better when on a Sunday afternoon we go out for it doesn't even have to be long, a 2 or 3 mile hike with the family, and we go see a waterfall, and then we go have lunch at some place we've never ate before. And that sense of adventure and that change of pace really, really helps. Any other hobbies, like I'm super into the whole EDC thing, the everyday carry thing, and all that encompasses. I'm super into that whole thing, and that is definitely a hobby for me. Motorcycles, definitely a hobby for me. I love riding, and didn't have a bike for a very, very long time because I sold my last bike to buy drywall for the studio build. But that is an enormous part of my life, and was for a huge percentage of my life. But really, I cannot place enough emphasis on the physical activity and the sunlight. Getting out there and just go for a walk. It literally doesn't matter. Just get out in the sun and go for a walk. It is free. It takes very little time and effort, and it does wonders for your mental state. And those of you that have been following the journey lately, I go to the gym 4 days a week now, and man, that has been an enormous help for my mental state as well. Like, it is changed so much going to the gym. And I don't think that you need to necessarily go to the gym to achieve this, but I just think being physically active, really, really important. If you have any other things that you do to kind of hack creativity, to stay motivated, to be refreshed, drop them in a comment down below. I would love to read what you guys are doing and how you've handled this. And I really hope that this has helped someone out there. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.